because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is Umar Ahmed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. There is a queue outside Box Park.
That's what we do at the weigh-ins, Umar. What's up with this? Why am I holding this? Is this a new thing? Actually, it's taking you that long to just realise that rather than interview and go, have two mics, have you just invested in this hands-free mic?
Well, I've realised it, but...
Does it even work?
Yeah, I hope so.
I don't think that's a thing. Is it just a mock one? It's got nothing in it. Stay in your lane. Stay in my lane.
Yeah, there is a queue, but I think a little bit of it is for KSI.
All right, Umar, don't fucking mug me up. If this was a Warren show, you'd be going, Frank, queues everywhere, look. Oh, down there by the new sides establishment, all here to see your fight, Frank. Oh, yeah, go on.
When have you ever heard me say that?
That's what he said yesterday. Boxing King Media,
I
sticking the knives, have a watch.
Go on, tell me what
happened. Really dug you out.
Tell me what happened.
He was like going, don't you feel like a lot of outlets got certain people that ask friendly questions and try? And I was looking at him and I read his mind. He was talking, as he was talking to me, like these signs just come in his eyes saying, Umar, IFL.
He's denying it. Yeah. But anyways, we know the Champions League final is on Saturday. If it goes to extra time or penalties, could there be an adjustment with the main event?
Look, we want to try and bring start times forward as early as possible, right? I feel like the main event should never start first bell later than 10 p.m, really. But the problem is, sometimes, and it's our fault because we do the production on our shows, there's chats, there's analysis, there's interviews, and you end up running 10:30, 10:45. Now in this instance, with a game that finishes at 10:45, 10:30 or 10:15 is quite a nice start time for the main event. So we'll have to see how the early fights play out. I think because we keep debating whether, we always do 4 championship fights and the main event. We're now debating whether we do 3 championship fights and the main event to bring that start time earlier. But you know me, Umar, I like to deliver value for subscribers, so more fights the better.
So what you're saying, regardless of the Champions League final, you're not moving Sonny's time?
Not really. I mean, the fight won't go before normal time. So we'll see.
Okay.
KSI, come for the weigh-in.
Oh, he's actually they're all cheering for you, aren't they?
Oh, boys, I'll be over in a minute. Yeah, no problem.
Eddie, before we come on to tomorrow night, you did declare to Coogan yesterday that Saudi Arabia have given you an offer. Would you say it's a formal offer?
We don't have a contract from them, but our relationship with them is very different to other people's relationships with them. Maybe not Usyk because they've done a deal with them now. But don't forget, we've been working with Prince Khalid and Skills Challenge since 2019, 3-4 years. I know them, I trust them. I spoke to them last night. And I'm comfortable that the paperwork will follow. I've been part of that process for 2 fights. I know how it works. It is slow. But some people have time, some people don't have time. For us, we're focusing on August 12th, and of course we want to wrap up December as well. But at the same time, I believe that the paperwork we require will be incoming, and I believe it will be incoming for everybody else. They don't muck around. They're not putting this out to the world that they want to do this night for a bit of banter and just for a bit of clout. They're real players, and you have to be willing and prepared to go through that process to get it done.
We know obviously Anthony's got an exclusive with DAZN, Tyson's with BT. I believe the other 2 are network free agents. So Saudi and Skills Challenge will have the rights to TV, etc. So that could go to anyone, couldn't it, Eddie?
Well, it can, but it also has to follow the contractual obligations of the fighter. We can't just do a deal with Saudi when DAZN own the global rights for Anthony Joshua and just say, oh, do what you want with it. That has to be part of the process and the discussions with Saudi. And that will be the same with Tyson Fury. For example, when we were talking to George Warren about doing AJ against Fury, we were talking about splitting the pay-per-view, so it will be on both platforms. And I would think there'll be a very similar format with that show as well, where all the respected broadcasts of the individual fighters in terms of their exclusivity will be respected on a platform basis.
Well, it makes sense to stick Wilder Joshua on DAZN and Fury Usyk on BT.
Yeah, maybe. I think BT are very happy, or were happy with when it was Fury against AJ, to do the fight on DAZN and BT.
Yeah.
I believe they would be happy to do that again for a fight and a night of that magnitude.
And over the last couple of weeks, I've spoken to a few people from Skills Challenge, and they've said there's definitely going to be a third massive fight on the card. Do you know anything about this?
Yeah.
What, is one of your fighters involved?
No. I think Derek Chisora will get a fight on that card. You know, obviously he works with Skills Challenge, and but I don't think that's the night in their mind isn't necessarily a triple header. But I think there'll be additional. I think there'll be 3 fights on the night, but that's for Skills Challenge to give you that info when the time is right.
Right, okay. Just to go back to the Fury Joshua offer, I think a lot of the frustration we saw from Frank Warren the other day was around the narrative that Tyson's ducking people. He's saying he's not blaming Joshua, Usyk, Wilder for taking the money in December in Saudi, but then people are criticising and labelling Tyson as the problem. Do you see that?
Well, he's definitely the problem.
Is it?
Yeah, for sure. But he's not ducking people. I don't believe Tyson Fury knows how difficult each fight is, right? He's very, very knowledgeable. He's got a great boxing brain. He just has in his head his perceived value of what he's worth in those fights. The problem is no one else has that same perception of that value. So when he comes in and asks for 120 million or whatever it was from Saudi to fight Usyk, the answer was, what? And obviously then it went down and they never reached a deal. So
would you say 60-40 for Joshua at Wembley is fair?
Yeah, I mean, when I saw Frank's desperation in your interview, I started thinking, I think we can get 50-50. It doesn't mean that we're going to ask for that, but I saw a very desperate camp that don't really know what to do. And I'm not trying to provoke anyone. That reaction is, when you look at the landscape, Tyson Fury, if he doesn't accept the Saudi deal, has to fight in September. Frank and everyone, Top Rank, is also under pressure to deliver him the money that he wants to fight. Everybody knows that it can't be another Derek Chisora. And the problem with the market is, and this isn't Tyson Fury's problem, is everyone wants a fortune to fight him. And the same with AJ, right? So you're looking at it now, they said Andy Ruiz wanted 20 million. I don't believe that, but I'm sure he wanted a lot of money. That's a respectable opponent. Joyce is fighting Zhang on September the 2nd or whatever it is. So then it's like, who else is there? Now, I'm more than willing to put Filip Hrgović in with Tyson Fury. There is no way Tyson Fury would fight Filip Hrgović.
But people could say, could you not do Joshua Hrgović?
Yeah, he could do it, but with could Hrgović do Joshua?
Yeah, for
possibly,
August.
Yeah. But also, Joshua wants to fight Dillian Whyte. But Hrgović could be an option. But Hrgović is a very dangerous fight for very little reward. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Tyson Fury's out there now going, I'm not fighting unless I'm getting 30 million. It's impossible to stage a fight at Wembley and deliver Tyson Fury that kind of money unless it's Anthony Joshua. So they really don't have anywhere to go. So the pressure is on them to either make the Joshua fight, who at the moment has got plans, we'll see what happens, or just do a deal to do the Usyk fight in December. But I don't think they're really overly forthcoming to do that deal. I don't think Fury...
Sorry, what deal are you talking about?
The
December?
Saudi deal.
Okay.
I don't think Fury is chomping at the bit to fight Alexander Usyk, because I think if he was, he would have got that made.
Okay. I did see you label the offer as a PR stunt. Why did you say that?
Because this is why, right? I get a call from George Warren, or I get an email, no contract, just an email to say, we would like to offer you, there's no contract, or number, the fight in September. Same deals as we discussed, let's pick it back up and get going.
But that's how things start, don't they?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. He says to me, and we agreed, let's keep this under the radar. Don't mind, look, if there's, if someone asks a question, if we're talking, no problem. But let's not start on social media. Let's not do all this. That was more of his request, because that's the way he likes to work. I said, fine, great idea. Half hour later, Tyson Fury comes out on Instagram. Yeah, well, here's the offer. You've got a chance to accept this, blah, 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 blah. It's like, he rings me out and goes, I'm so shocked. And he just, it's fucked straight away, really. But anyway, so I go back to George. I say, look, at the moment we're fighting August 12th and December. That's what we're doing. If the situation changes and we can't get that Wilder fight, I'm all up for talking about Tyson Fury in September. And that's the only conversation we've had. But when you're told people aren't going to talk about it and then they start putting it across social media, I just feel like Tyson Fury needed a PR situation. It actually backfired on him really badly because he's getting murdered from a PR and a credibility standpoint right now. Right? Because everyone's saying, what are you talking about? You're talking about Dempsey McKean, you're talking about Jay Opataya, you're talking about John Jones, then you talk about Anthony Joshua, you're saying this about Usyk, but you're not really going to fight him. No one believes a word Tyson Fury says right now. Fact. And I think they're in a bit of a mess. I think they're in a bit of a fuddle. And I think he's a great fighter. I think he's a fantastic personality. I think he's wonderful for the sport. But at the moment, you never know what to believe and what not to believe. And I don't think AJ's interested in going to camp where he's been for 2 weeks now in Dallas, basing his career around an Instagram message from Tyson Fury. But we want that fight, and if we can't deliver our plan, we'll 100% look at it.
Can I get a response as well, some comments from Frank? You know, he said that it's always been
What,
about...
where he said he'll fraud the contract?
No,
He'll forge the contract?
Not that
You didn't
one.
ask him a lot about that, did you?
What do you mean?
Well, when he said, I'll sign the contract,
He
I'll
was talking
forge the
He was
contract.
talking about the Saudi deal.
He was talking about he'll sign the contract on behalf of Tyson Fury. He'll forge it.
What he was saying was
Yeah.
like, just sort of get on with it. He was not
Right.
actually saying he's going to forge
That's what he
Tyson's
said.
contract. Yeah, but I doubt he meant it literally.
Oh, right,
It's
okay,
a legal
go on.
case.
Yeah, go on.
What was I saying? Yeah, response from Frank to him saying, you know, AJ's been about fighting the best. He can become a 3-time heavyweight world champion. Tyson Fury's knocked out Dillian White and Deontay Wilder, 2 guys that Anthony Joshua was looking at. A response to that?
My response is this. No one is criticising Anthony Joshua for fighting Dillian White and Deontay Wilder. So,
But wouldn't Tyson Fury be the bigger challenge?
yeah, probably, but we can't do 2 fights. Well, I don't mind saying that I think AJ needs that fight in August to fight Deontay Wilder and probably to fight Tyson Fury. I think he can beat both now, but he'll be in a much better place to beat them if he has an extra fight under Derek James. So all this kind of stuff, it's all very well listening to Twitter and you, Umar, saying, well, why don't you do this? The fighter, I'm not calling you out, but I'm saying the fighter is going, and the trainer is going, hang on, we can fight in August and we can fight in December. Deontay Wilder is one of the biggest fights in the history of heavyweight boxing, AJ Wilder. So it's not like we're out there going, we're going to fight, I don't know, like some couple of randoms. We're looking to make great fights. And then after that, we'll fight Tyson Fury. But I'm telling you now, if we can't get the Saudi deal over the line, we would look to do Tyson Fury. No question about it. But AJ and the team just prefer the 2 planned fights they've been working on for quite a while than the potential of fighting Tyson Fury.
If Wilder knocks out Anthony Joshua, is that Fury fight gone forever?
Maybe. That's boxing. So you can get beat any time. It's like, you know, when Frank says, oh, if he gets knocked out, you have to also understand AJ's going to make twice as much money to fight Deontay Wilder than he is to fight Tyson Fury.
Twice as
Yes.
much.
There's no money in the Wembley fight compared to the fight taking a
How
fight
much would
abroad.
that generate at Wembley?
Not enough.
Like, if you had to put a figure on it?
No, I'm not going into figures. But what I'll tell you is, like, whether it's double, whether it's nearly double, it's at significantly more money in Saudi Arabia to fight Deontay Wilder than to fight Tyson Fury at Wembley. Right? So when you throw that into the mix, when you throw the chance to get an extra fight in the mix, not just to make that money, but to develop under Derek James, why would we engage in this madness? I watched that interview with you, and I was like, you imagine being AJ, seeing that interview with Frank Warren, you should be like, I'd be going back saying, I want 50-50.
But in their mind, because of the meeting that Freddie Cunningham and George Warren had a week ago, that fight's dead. They said no.
Yeah, that's where we're at. I told George, at the moment, we are doing our plan, which is 2 fights, August and December.
So nothing's been ruined then, really, is it? Or
Well, no, but it's not being ruined, but everything's been ruined in terms of the chance of future chats. We've got a great relationship with George Warren. Really level-headed guy who comes on, not really interested in interviews, not interested in exposure, just looking to do good business. He would have watched that interview with Frank, as I've watched interviews with my old man and Coogan, and gone, Jesus Christ. Because it goes against everything he's saying. Let's keep this, let's try and be smart, and then that blows up, and it's like, if you're someone else, you can't take these people seriously. So, it's a long talking point, but We look forward
Did
to
you
Sunny
see,
Edwards.
see Mauricio Suleiman's comments?
No, about what?
Did you not see them? Said that Tyson Fury is the victim in all this.
He's what?
He's the victim in all this. Did you not see them from Suleiman?
The WBC president said of his WBC champion that he's the victim of all this.
Right, let's quickly address tomorrow night. Sonny's adamant if he comes through tomorrow night, he's not going to get Bam Bam in the ring, he's not going to get Martinez in the ring.
He will. 1,000,000%. Sonny Edwards' next fight after this will be Bam Rodriguez, Julio Cesar Martinez, or Delakian in a unification. There is no way I'm allowing him not to unify after this fight. But I want him to look good. I want him to come out there and I want him to really do a job on Campos. But no, he has to unify because I'm not seeing it.
No, he's saying from his end, obviously.
Yeah, no, he's
but
signed.
those guys
He's signed. Doesn't matter.
Oh, really?
I have to get those guys to fight, and they will. One of those champions will fight.
Are
Sonny Edwards
any
next.
of them coming tomorrow night?
No. Jesse Rodriguez was going to come, but he's just come back to training with his broken jaw, and he's not coming. But we're in negotiations. Julio Cesar Martinez has called out to fight. Delakian definitely wants to fight. His next fight will be a unification, but I want him to look good on Saturday night.
Tell everyone why should tune in tomorrow.
It's a great card. You've got 3 World Championship fights. I mean, firstly with Sonny Edwards against Campos. I think Sonny Edwards, pound for pound, one of the top fighters in British boxing. Ellie Scotney against Shanika Johnson is an absolute fantastic fight, as is Nina Hughes against Katie Healy, kicking us off the live broadcast. Look out for Chev Clark against David Jameson. Brilliant fight, final eliminator for the British Cruiserweight Championship. Johnny Fisher stepping up over 8 rounds, and he's mad lot here as well. Great fight on before the bell, Reece Bellotti against
Yusuf Kumari.
Kumari. Also 3 of our top prospects, Shannon Ryan, Jules Liddard, and Muhammad Ali. Don't miss it, all live on DAZN.
Happy belated.
Because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 17, 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,